I don't have time today to give you an artistic introduction to this message. And so I'm just going to jump right into the three things that make up a man that I'm going to discuss today. Later, we're going to host a group that we're calling Men's Fraternity. We're urging all men to join a fraternity that we're going to start on Saturdays. We're going to meet for 12 weeks. And I'm going to share with you 5 things that make up a man. But today, I want to share with you 3 of them. Here's the first one. A man rejects passivity. A man rejects passivity. The saddest verse in the Bible is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. In that verse, we see man at his worst. Man is there, but he's passive. Listen to what the verse says. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. It says, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to who? Her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Now, those of you who know the Bible, this is the tree, right, that God told them not to eat from. And so she eats from it, and she gives some to her knucklehead husband, who God gave the command to at first, who heard the voice of God saying, do not eat from this tree. And the Bible says he ate of it anyway. Now, this level of passivity that we see in Adam is shocking. And it represents man in his worst state. Man at his worst is visible, but he's irrelevant. He does not have a life-changing, decision-shaping impact upon things that matter. He's there, but he goes numb when he's needed. He disappears right before our eyes. This is man at his worst. And I want you to see the depth of Adam's passivity. It's seen in several things. First of all, Adam allowed his wife, God's gift to him, to be deceived. Now, we tend to think that Adam is on the north side of the garden and Eve is in the middle of the garden. Adam is away tending to God's business somewhere else. And Eve, poor little Eve, is in isolation without her husband. And the serpent comes and entices her. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says Adam was there the whole time. So Adam is there. He's watching things happen, but he's not making things happen. This is the heart of passivity. So his wife is getting deceived. And Adam, he's not praying for her. He does not confront the enemy. He does not confront the serpent. Adam doesn't say, Eve, wait a minute. You need to think about this before you do this. He just lets her do what she does. He allows her to be deceived. He's there, but his presence does not matter. He's visibly, thickly irrelevant. And so Adam, he allows his wife to be deceived. But there's more. The depth of his passivity is seen in the fact that he does not share his knowledge. This is man at his worst. He knows something. He has a strategy that will help people, but he refuses to open his mouth and share it. I got mine, you get yours. And that's what Adam is doing. The Bible tells us that Adam was not deceived like Eve. And so while the serpent is spinning all of these lies, he's spinning this game with Eve. Eve is drawn into it. She's sucked into it. She's deceived by it. But all along, Adam is not deceived by it. He knows the serpent is wrong. He knows that there will be negative consequences for Eve if she goes ahead and eats of the tree. But Adam is so passive that he says nothing. And I'm wondering what he's thinking. Like, Adam, why aren't you saying anything? And maybe he's thinking something like many men think today. Well, it's her life. If she just want to die, just let her die. His wife is about to start a fire in the garden. And he doesn't have the gumption to tell her to stop playing with the matches. Baby, stop playing with the matches. Am I helping anybody here? See, a real man rejects passivity. He rejects passivity. Adam, in addition to that, we see in the text, he does not confront Eve. There's no confrontation. He didn't just offer a suggestion to rethink it. He didn't even confront her. This is a time in which he should have been standing up and shouting and pleading with her. No, he cannot violate her adulthood. He cannot make her do what she doesn't want to do, but he can try. He could try, but he doesn't do it. He does not confront her. And what's interesting is this. This is the only tree from which God said to them, you should not eat. They were free to eat from every other tree in the garden. And so as long as they were living in the garden, Adam would only have to take a stand on this one tree. He would only have to take a stand on one issue. But he's so passive, he can't stand up for one thing. This is man at his worst. My brother said he's sorry. Hey, this is a trap. This is a trap. And then here's the last one. Adam also joins in her sin. The Bible says after Eve ate of the fruit, she said, ooh, Adam, this is good. You ought to try this too. And Adam, upon the suggestion of his wife that he's allowed to get on the other side of God's purpose, the Bible says Adam took of the fruit and ate it himself. Now understand, he's not deceived. He knows that it's going to have negative consequences for him and his wife, but he eats it anyway. Why? Because his wife told him to. Her told me to eat it. And so he eats it anyway. Just because of his wife. He disobeys God in order to please his wife. Now understand this. After one night of passion with Eve, he's willing to choose the creature over the creator. He's willing now to please the gift over the giver. He said, baby, if loving you is wrong, I don't want. I don't want to be right. I mean, I know what God said. But understand, this is after one night of passion. I don't know what she did. Now, some of y'all can't laugh too hard because you know what that feels like. Yes, ma'am. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Now, understand this. And I need you to get this because this is the punchline. This is what I want you to get from this point more than anything. Adam abdicated his role. And men, understand our role in the lives of our wives is not to be passive. Our role is to make the devil passive. Our role is not to neutralize God's influence. Our role is to neutralize the enemy's influence. And so you and I are to spend our lives neutralizing the influence of the enemy in our wife's life, in our family's life, in our children's life. Adam was passive and he was manhood at its worst. At its worst. And friend, if we have anything else today, and this is the great challenge, not only of the church, but of society, of civil Western society today. There is a male passivity that is being promoted. And it's producing men who have all of this testosterone that they are channeling toward television and toward folly and toward sophomoric activities that do not add any value to their family, to themselves, or to their society. And most of you understand what that's like because your wife tells you what to do. The only reason why you're at church is today is because your wife been getting on you. She's pulling you to church like you're a boy. She's pulling you to God. And God says, I want you to pull her to God. You are the man in this garden. A real man rejects passivity. He rejects passivity. Now understand, now I already know the challenge because some of y'all saying, yeah, Pastor Butt. Yeah, let me get up here. Let me see. I want to see everybody. You already say, yeah, Pastor Butt. Yeah, but. Yeah. But it's so much easier when I just let her do what she wants to do. I know that. I know you're right. It's easier. This is a man's job. It takes a man in order to stand up and do what's right when his woman does not want to do it. Yeah, this is a man's job. I know it's hard. It will always be easier for you to let your wife do whatever she wants to do. It will always be easier to let her pay the bills, to let her buy the groceries, to let her, if you got the money, just go buy whatever she wants, just whatever her heart desires, because you don't want to deal with her. And then you got an appointment at 10 o'clock that you don't want to be compromised by the little disagreement. So it's always easier to just let her do what she wants to do. It's easier to let her clean the house. It's easier to let her wash the dishes. It's easier to let her deal with your mama. It's easier to let her deal with your baby mama. Okay, don't act like you ain't got no baby mamas up in here. It's just easier to let her deal with all of that. It's easier to let her discipline the children, clean the children, raise the children. But friend, listen to me. If the primary words out of your mouth to your children are these, ask your mama. You are far too passive. This is all our children hear a lot of times. Daddy, I'm hungry. Ask your mama. Daddy, will you read to me? Ask your mama. Daddy, will you go with me? Oh, no. Ask your mama. This is a passivity, and it is not a characteristic of men of God. God put us in the earth to rule and to have dominion and to be his image in the earth. We're not only passive when it comes to our wives, we're also passive when it comes to the world. Men can look at profound need and feel nothing. And one of the reasons why we have this in us is because we are used to stuffing our emotions. So after stuffing your emotions for 15 and 20 years, you don't even know how to feel anymore. The only thing you feel is anger. The only thing that a lot of men feel, and I'm going to talk about this next week, the only thing we often feel is happiness and anger. Do you know there are more emotions than happiness and anger? Yeah, there are a whole lot more emotions. So we either feel good or we're mad. And our family life is like this. It's up and down because is Daddy happy today? Because we don't know how to feel. And it's the same way when we look out in the world. We look out in the world and there are all of these needs and there are all of these opportunities for a man to be a man. And we feel nothing and we do nothing. I just want to go home and watch TV. This is the passivity of a broken generation. And this is what we have to deal with if we're ever going to be the people that God has called us to be, if we're going to restore the dignity of our society. We've got to deal with the passivity of our maleness. This is a sociological reality as well. Yale sociologist Stephen Clark made this observation after studying humanity throughout time. He says, for whatever reason, men have a natural tendency to avoid social responsibility. They just naturally say, I am not my brother's keeper. I got mine. That dude ought to get his own. I pull myself up by my own bootstraps. Please. You got grants to go to school. Your mom and daddy supported you. They still paying a couple of your bills. You understand what I'm saying? We avoid social responsibility. And God says, Here's why I put you in the earth. I put you here to be my image. I put you here to represent me. I put you here to lead and to reign. And I put you here to ensure that my will is being done in the earth so far as it depends upon you. We are the leaders of the society as men. And this is what God is calling us to, this kind of regality, this kind of kingly identity in the earth. He's calling us to that. And friend, I want you to know this. The more you walk with Christ and the more you experience his love, the more he separates you from your apathy. The more he separates you from your natural tendency to be passive. I got a great story on passivity. And I just got it this morning. I was doing my walk jog. More walking than jogging. But it's a walk jog because I jogged. 5 minutes at a time I jogged. It was a nice jog. So I'm doing my walk jog. I'm watching the news. And on the news, there's this couple called the Hunters in Indiana. And you may have heard this story. You remember the E4 tornado that went through Indiana. Indiana was one of the most destructive tornadoes that we have ever had in our country. They are videoing the tornado. They're videoing the tornado. And both of them have, their little cameras out. And they are admiring the tornado. This is Lenora and Wayne Hunter. They'd been married 41 years. Male passivity. Now, Wayne is really not that interested in the tornado. But his wife has been fascinated with storms. And all of her life, she wanted to see a tornado. So she finally got her opportunity. And so you can actually hear them on the video. They're saying, ooh, look at it. It's so big. Ooh. Oh, it's so, look at how it's blowing around. Oh, it's picking up houses. Look at it. Look at the cars. They're going everywhere. And they're watching it. And then you can hear them say, their tone starts to change. And they said, Brian, about midway through the video, it looks like it's coming toward us. Now, this is the definition of insanity. They kept videoing. Honey, it looks like it's getting closer. Look at it. Eventually, they turned off the video camera just in time, not to truly protect themselves, but just in time to find a blanket to cover up, and the husband died. Now, I'm thinking, this man right here, he's called to protect his wife. At some point in the proceedings, he should have said, baby, I think it's time for us to get up out of here. I mean, I know you want to look at this storm, but don't you know that storm will kill us? And God said, I'm looking for some men that I can place in the house who will say, don't you know, baby, this financial storm will kill us. This inability to forgive will kill us. This tendency that we have to talk negatively about each other will kill us. I didn't marry you to watch the storm. I married you to protect you from the storm. Now let me just say this. Where are my single ladies? Let me see where you are. If he's passive now, he'll be passive later. I know you think this is cool. Watch this. Watch this, single ladies. All the single ladies. All the single ladies. Watch this. Watch this. I know you think this is cool when old boy be doing like this. All night. Don't really have anything to say. That will drive you nuts if you marry him. Let me tell you why he has nothing to say. He has nothing to say. And if he doesn't have anything to say now, there's no guarantee that after you marry him, he's going to pick up some words along the way. If you're doing everything, you paying his bills, you doing all this, before you get married, life will be hell. Let me tell you something. People don't change after you marry them. They become more of who they are